We have Finbarr Power from Sampla, who's going to tell us all about his circular design journey with designing a pair of shoes, embodying sustainability, craftsmanship, and timeless design. We have Atilla from Mamukko here, all about upcycling using local materials. Danson from the Kenyan Organization of Environmental Education, all about circular solutions in Kenya. And then we're going to go through some of the design pitches at the end. So we have pitches from Waraka High School, Kalashta Warren Cove, and Seamount College. So I'm going to leave that there for now, and I'm going to get straight into it and pass you over to Finbarr from Sampla. But just a note on this webinar will be recorded. And if you have questions and comments as you go for the speakers, please do pop them into the chat and we'll take them at the end as well. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Claire. Hello, everyone. My name is Finbarr. I'm the founder of Sampla, a sustainable footwear brand based here in Waterford. So I don't know if there's many Waterford people on the call now or not today, but if basically when Claire got on to me and she asked me to be part of this call, I was absolutely honoured, simply because I suppose my story started back when I was in transition here myself. From an early age, I would always look at products and think, how could they be redesigned or reinvented or improved? And footwear was always one of those things that fascinated me. Ever since, I suppose, I was younger, every weekend after school with the lads, we'd always go into the Waterford City or Dungarvan. And I suppose the first place we would go is we'd do a beeline to any of the sports shops to check out the latest trends, the latest football boots that were available, or even the latest trendy sneakers that were coming out on the market. So I suppose when Transitioner came around, it gave me a fantastic opportunity, because when I had the opportunity to go and find someone to ask for 2 weeks work experience, I knew exactly where I was going to go. So I went into Ger Wiley's. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Waterford or Dungarvan. They know Ger Wiley. He's a legend of a man, a sports shop in Dungarvan there. So he gave me my 2 weeks work placement. And from those 2 weeks really just enlightened my passion even more. So from there, then I suppose I went on and finished school, went to Cork, studied marketing. And in 2018, the idea just got so big in my head that it had to be done. So I began researching the idea of how to make a sustainable shoe. And from the very beginning, really, the idea was very simple. The shoe really had to tick the following couple of things. The shoe had to be made from sustainable materials. It had to be comfortable. It had to be ethically made. And of course, it had to be well designed. And back in 2018, it was very difficult to find a shoe that I suppose ticked those those four boxes. So I went to the drawing boards and I started designing my shoe, the Model Elpa. So the shoe itself, I suppose I wanted it to be unisex. I wanted it to have a functional design, and I suppose one of the most important things when designing a sustainable product, you have to think of the longevity and how the product can be repaired. So each material on the shoe can be fully recycled. The shoe itself, I suppose, from the very beginning, it was important that taking into the consideration the design, that the sole, say compared to other shoes, that it would be, once it would wear out, that you could bring it to any cobbler in the country and the shoe could be repaired with ease. So that was another feature that was designed from the start, I suppose. So the next piece of the puzzle then was to go out and search what innovative materials were available on the market back in 2018. So put my thinking cap on. I went to all the forums, went to LinkedIn, and found this guy called Hans Parts, a scientist who was in Italy, and basically plagued him for 2 or 3 weeks, was getting onto him over email, was plaguing him on LinkedIn. And one day he sent me a WhatsApp message saying, well, what's my story? Why am I being such a pain in the ass, plaguing him? So he said, if you're interested, come and meet me. I'm in Italy, we can have a discussion. So the next thing then was book my flight, went over to meet Hans, spent 3 days understanding the full process on how apple leather was made. Um, and at the time, he was only speaking to, I suppose, one other client, and it was actually Mercedes. They were looking at putting apple leather into their electric vehicles at the time. So he showed me the full process on how basically the material can be developed and repurposed from apple waste in the juice industry in Tyrol, in the northern region of Italy, and transformed into an innovative, incredible material. So I suppose going out to him, I thought it was insane really until I kind of understood the process and how it's all made. And then coming back, I think by the end of those 3 days, I think he thought I was the mad one trying to make a shoe out of it. So the next piece of the puzzle then was to try and figure out what other materials could I use in this design. So I had the upper of the shoe basically developed. So I'll have a sample here of a small shoe. So the upper was developed. The next piece of the puzzle then was, I suppose, the crepe sole, as you can see here, the midsole. So the idea for the midsole at the beginning was like a lot of people still today think, oh, are they cork soles or what's that material made out of? And to be honest, the idea from the beginning was that they would be made from cork. And that probably brings me on to the next piece of the puzzle where I went back to the drawing board, tried to research where is the most popular place that cork is produced within Europe. And that brought me to Portugal. So I found the largest producer of cork, and I was lucky enough that they had an R&D, a research and design department. And I brought the idea to them and they were excited by it and they bought into it straight away. And they put the thinking cap on, tried to see if there was a material that they could develop with, say, PVCs and EVAs that could be durable enough to be put into a sole of a shoe. And from there, then basically did 6 months, maybe had about 7 or 8 different prototypes of different materials, different soles. And to be honest, I wasn't happy with the final version that we had, simply because I didn't want to put a sustainable material really into a shoe if it wasn't going to, be as durable as any other shoe out in the market. So I had to go back to the drawing boards and I found this incredible material, this EVA called Super Crepe, which basically it's the midsole now. It still looks like cork, but it's recycled EVA foam from the automotive industry. So the inside of car seats, if you rip open any car seat, the yellow foam that would be in the inside of a car seat, basically it's repurposed. Any waste from the production facility, it's repurposed into a sheet, and all of the soles that I would be using would be prefabricated. So they come to our supplier as a sheet, and then they would be handmade and crafted into the shape of a sole. So that was the main piece of the sole sorted, and then the final stages of it really are the natural crepe out sole at the end, and then they're topped off with organic cotton laces. So that was the product, and I was happy with that. And then I suppose the next piece of the puzzle then was the packaging. So basically, we went to a packaging provider close to the factory that I ended up working with. So the factory that we work with, basically, I discovered those guys through my time in Portugal and developing the Clark sole. So basically for the packaging and everything, we ended up using FSC certified packaging in all of our products. So the cardboards and the papers are recycled and they can be recycled after the fact also. So when I was in Portugal, I suppose I was also looking for a factory to manufacture the shoe itself. And this is when the ethical piece really comes into it, because I suppose there's lots of different factories you could go and work with, but it was important to me that when starting a business, that not just that I would find a factory that could produce the shoe very well, but also understand how the shoe is made. So I found a small factory with just over 60 employees. The average is 20 to 25 years in the production line of experience between each artisan. So I ended up going to the factory, nearly spending a year with the factory, just getting to know the lads on the production floor, getting to understand how shoes are made. And to this day, I'm over with the lads in the factory on, say, a monthly basis now. So, we have a great relationship, and the quality that of the products they're making is fantastic. So they work with like large as well. They work with some boutique fashion houses in France, some Italian footwear brands, and to be honest, the quality that they're producing is next level. So that piece was huge to me. So on to the next part, then the product was made, we had the shoe sorted, and then it was a case of telling our story and getting it out there. So back in 2020 then, so it nearly took us 2 years to develop the shoe itself. Back in 2020, we launched a prototype on Kickstarter. Kickstarter campaign was launched for 4 weeks, and fortunately, we doubled our target. We sold the shoe into over 18 countries in 4 weeks and managed to win the Projects We Love badge from Kickstarter themselves in the New York office. So now today, I suppose the shoe is stocked in over 20 countries, and geez, yeah, I'm very proud about it, to be honest. The next piece then, sorry, when the shoe was developed and we had the orders in, the next piece of the puzzle was really then trying to figure out how are we going to ship all of this stock. So at the beginning, we were thinking about setting up a warehouse in Waterford and bringing the stock from Portugal to Waterford, and Waterford then onto the customers directly. But we thought maybe the most efficient way to do it would actually be to set up a warehouse right beside the factory. So within, say, 2 kilometers down the road of the factory, we basically spent a year putting together a fulfillment center. So we have a warehouse out by the factory. All the orders are shipped directly from the factory. And then if anything ever happened, say if there was an error with a product, we're able to bring the shoe back to the fulfillment center, bring it straight into the production line, have any faults or anything like that, looked at it, and then have it back out with the customer. So it was the most efficient way of getting started. And at the moment, since then, as I said, we've only really focused with one product, but now we're looking at branching out, and very soon we'll be launching a new collection. We're starting to dive into the world of textile. So we have a collection coming out that's all French terry organic cotton that can be traced back to the farm, and that should be launching, say, within the next month and a half. We are doing a relaunch as well of the brand. So it's all these little pieces of the puzzle that we're kind of focusing on just to help improve the brand. But hopefully all going to plan within the next month and a half, that will also be launched. So if you check out, keep an eye out for @Sampla on Instagram, and any questions at all, just drop us a line if you have any doubts or questions on anything. I'll be more than happy to help you. But as I said from the beginning, Claire, when she asked me to be part of this, it's fantastic because sustainability is something that we really cared about from the very beginning, along the whole design process. And I would say to any transition year student, if you have a passion and you believe in an idea, like, you can really go and make remarkable change. So I would really advise anyone to drive it on, and you really can do anything really if you set your mind to it. So thanks a million. Thanks for listening to me. And if there's anything else, just put a question into the group and I'd be more than happy to answer.
Thanks, Finbarr. That is absolutely amazing. And thanks so much for talking us through from the design to the prototype stage as well, and all the challenges. There's going to be lots of questions at the end, I imagine. So I'm going to just quickly hand over first to Atilla, and he's going to talk to us about Mamukko first. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Atilla Magyar from Kinsale. Thanks a lot for the invite, guys. I'm pleasure to be here. And honestly, I have to say that I'm extremely proud of Finbarr. This is our first time I ever seen him. We never met, but when you see the passion, you feel the passion in someone's eye. Somewhere around in 2011, I was in a similar seat like Finbarr. So congratulations and all the best with your business, Finbarr. So yes, my name is Atilla Magyar. I have long story, and mainly evolves around craftsmanship, sustainability, circular design, passion, drive, and everything in between. So I have some very special pictures here. I'm a 5th generation leather worker, and I have a very special picture here. This is my father in the 60s, and believe it or not, this was a shoe factory, Finbarr, that was set up by my grandfather and 5 of his friends, and in the peak, this factory employed 3,500 people. They were making shoes, they were making products for military, domestic products as well, some of them, and some products for the Iraq, Iran, Russia, skiing boots. So it was mainly a sports-related factory. My mom is also a leather worker. I have a picture here of her in the 80s. She was crafting smaller products more for the domestic market. My background and my story is interesting. Before I set up this company in 2011 with my brother, who deserves a big respect, and he sacrificed actually his nickname for the company. He's here, this guy on the right. Yeah, Mr. Mamukko. We ran the business together until 2018. And then he left the company, and now he set up another company. He was the designer of this company. So the company based in Kinsale is based on this heritage of our leather craft. And we wanted to create something different, something with a sustainable twist, that everything relies with our ethos, with our passion, with our way of thinking, and with our lifestyle. In 2011, we were at a pretty early stage with our concept, but when you have as Finbarr said, when you have the idea, when you have the concept, when you have the drive, and everything is possible, everything is achievable. We went down through a different journey compared to Finbarr. So we invested our small investment in the beginning, 2011. The cash flow in the beginning was a bit slow, but we kept going, and we are still here after all these years. We got some support from local enterprise boards. We got an investment from the Enterprise Island. So my background, I was dealing with the business aspects of Mamukko. My brother was the designer and the creative aspects. And in 2011, the concept was we set up a small workshop in Kinsale in a railway station. We had one white domestic sewing machine and one ruler. That's all we had. But we knew that we wanted to create something. My brother was keen to source some sales, because where we are from, there's no sales. There's a bit of sailing, but the sailing culture is different. We have a large lake, and it's a lake sailing. Until 2011, I never touched a sail in my life. But my brother was keen to source sails and to make products from sails. He used to work in a factory in Hungary, making motorbike, Harley Davidson, chopper, panniers and stuff. But he also sourced some Sainsbury shopping bags, and he recycled those into products. Europe was a bit ahead of Ireland those years. So the inspiration was mainly it was an urban inspiration from Europe. In 2011, I wasn't even aware of Freitag, the famous Swiss company who started early 90s. They upcycle tarpaulin lorry covers and bike tubes into sustainable products. So I wasn't aware what they do, but We just wanted to create something. Everything what we achieved, it was an organic process filled with, the drive to create something, to source materials. So the concept of Mamukko is upcycling. Upcycling is one of the pillars of circular design, circular economy. When we started, these terms, these phrases constantly change. My friend, Dr. Frank Connor, mentioned reuse, sustainability, circular design, upcycling 20 years ago in Ireland or more in his thesis. So the concept was there and slowly improving. These now we have phrases like dead stock, end of life, pre-consumer, post-consumer. So, but we weren't aware. So we just wanted to create something from a material that we source. So, and now I kind of feel like that the trends are following what we have done naturally in the last 12, 13 years. So the concept is upcycling. Mamukko is all about sourcing materials, mainly from the marine industry, as well as the aviation industry. But our main materials are sails and natural rubber life rafts. I have some samples here. So sails. So the design concept is that we source a material and we combine various materials together. The uniqueness and originality of the brand is the combination of various materials. If I, for example, if I have a product here, so this is a real reflection of the Mamukko design and a Mamukko product. So the front is a Hugo Boss sail. This is a so-called dead stock leather, but for us it's a leather from probably a closed shoe factory in Ireland, because there used to be shoe production in Ireland, unfortunately, and hopefully Finbarr in 5 years might bring back the production to Ireland. That would be an amazing achievement.
That's the aim.
If that's a business model and if it's sustainable, but I would love to see that happen. Maybe. So another leather from so from various sources that had end of life or pre waste, fabrication waste. The back is airplane seat leather. And what else? Yes. So at the very distinguishable buckle and the natural rubber life raft. So these are the materials that we combined. So this is a bag. What else? So sails come in various types of form. This is a synthetic sail. Synthetic sail. We wash them. The process is that we source the materials. We wash some of the materials. We cannot wash leather, but we clean if it's possible or if it's needed. Some leather. We did a project for a company called Avalon. Avalon is one of the world leading aviation companies, renting airplanes to companies to countries all over the world. We had a project with them. So this is post-consumer. So this was stripped off from a business class airplane. So these are life rafts, natural rubber life raft that they are made used for tires as well. This is the Hugo Boss sail. These are huge sails, 60-foot sails that race around the world. If a product has a story, that's a very special add-on to the product. What else? Loads of materials. So for us, it's all about the materials. So this is a very special bag. In 2014, a Dutch store ship sank here off the coast of Ireland. They rescued all the 30 people on board, and this part was part of the original life raft. The ship had 4 life rafts, and this bit was the original part of the original life raft. So the concept is reuse, upcycling. So the business model, we are a family business, and this beautiful girl deserves a lot of thank yous and acknowledgement. She's my wife. She's a stitcher. She's one of the designers. She's stitching. And Finbarr, believe it or not, in the early 90s, she used to work in a shoe factory. The shoe so she has an amazing journey as well, because back in the days in Eastern Europe, I'm from Hungary, a stitching person didn't have that value. You know, things have changed a lot, extremely. She has an amazing personal journey that eventually we will share, because she had an amazing skill that wasn't valued, and now she's in her full power, being the master stitcher of our company. It's a beautiful journey as well. So yes, so I'm in my shop here. I have some other products. What else? Yeah, this is a roll down backpack. So our business model is boutique manufacturing, crafted in Ireland, small batches, 5-10. We have a workshop where we store all our materials, and I prepare everything there. I cut them up, I inflate the life rafts, I chop the life rafts, I wash the life rafts. We have machinery, industrial machinery, click presses, exactly the same like in every classic small, medium scale, higher scale production. Click presses, skiver, splitter, industrial machines. Recently, I also started buying, selling, repairing machinery, because that's my another skill and passion I have. So I might sell some shoemaking machines to Finbarr. So guys, it's a beautiful skill to have. My dream is to pass on these skills that I learned. I haven't mentioned in the beginning that before 2011, before I started, so I'm a fifth generation leather worker, but I have academic studies as well. I'm a teacher of English, I'm a teacher of history, I'm a librarian, I have 7 certificates and all these bits. I'm a reggae DJ, and I ended up here managing this beautiful multi-award company we call Mamukko. So these are all our awards we received, and we just received another one recently. I'm really proud of our journey. I would love to see probably somebody who is in this call listening might get inspired. The new generation has power, guys. You have power. Please use it. You can do and achieve changes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm very emotional getting after listening to those. You're so inspirational. And
Thank you.
we're going to have so many discussions and chat now in a few minutes. We just want to hand over to our final speaker for today, Danson, and I am just going to share a quick presentation as well from Danson.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you so much.
I hope you can all hear me.
Yes.
Perfect. I'm feeling a bit challenged, I think, after hearing all the fantastic work that is being done. And it's also, I think, a source of hope that when it comes to circular economy, there's at least a number of initiatives that are already happening, which I think for me, it's a good start. There's a lot already that has been said about circular economy. And I know also, I think in subsequent workshops, we've delved into the meaning of circular economy and kind of like why we need circular economy in the different contexts that we have. And I know a lot of stories have been shared of maybe inspirations, and also our journey towards like taking action on circular economy. So for me, my story begins about 20 to 25 years ago. I was still a young kid back in the village in western parts of Kenya. And part of knowledge transfer in the African society is always by using stories and fairy tales. And that's something that my father had specialized on how to pass information using stories. I remember back in the days, things like maybe food waste. If you would throw away food, that would end up being a punishment. So the punishment sometimes could be so harsh as maybe not eating for one full day, because they believe the reason you're throwing food is because you don't need food anymore. A lot has changed, I know, over the last 10 years. We've seen 10, 20 years. We've seen a lot of changes in technology, a lot of innovations happening. I understand that currently we are in the technological era. But some of this information, like the way our parents used to pass this information, kind of ended up impacting the kind of decisions that we take in future, and maybe the kind of model that they wanted us to incorporate into our daily lives. And an example is something maybe to do with food. Instead of just throwing food away, there's a way maybe you can make use of it so as it can have like some other impact in the ecosystem. So I know there's a lot of interrelationship between how human beings relate with the ecology and ecosystem. And it's kind of so different with how other species relate with the ecosystem. A good example is when it comes to the interrelationship between human beings and nature. For a long time, you'll find that for all other species, once there's a change in nature, they won't do their best to change that particular maybe changes that have occurred. The only thing they'll do is they have to find a way in which they can adopt to the changing ecosystems. But when it comes to human beings, it's always a bit different, that we always do try to change the system so that it fits into our changing ways. And this is an approach that calls for a lot of discipline. And it's not an easy one to take, because it also requires a lot of responsibility, which for the longest time, we failed to own up to that responsibility. And part of it, I think, comes with the kind of like economy that we have. For a long time, we've always banked on the linear economy of the make, take, and waste, where we take resources from nature, use them for whatever reason we want, and then at the end of the day, it turns into waste. This is an approach that already is unsustainable, and even for the future, it's going to become even worse. Take, for example, that by 2030, we are going to have about 9 billion people in the universe. And out of the 9 billion, almost 3 billion are going like to be categorized as middle income people. I know there's always, this is like something maybe most of you know, that most purchasing power is always like within the middle income people. So that means that by 2030, a lot of resources are going to be needed to sustain the life that we want to live. But in reality, it's not going to be possible. And that's why this is the time for us to think about an alternative kind of economy where materials can remain within the cycle as long as possible. And this now is where we have to think about circular economy. My definition of circular economy is an economy where we try to increase the life cycle of products as much as possible with minimum waste to the environment. Next slide. I've had some good examples from our last two speakers on the practical use of circular economy. Kenya as a country, we are also doing our best to make sure that circular economy is infused within the normal living standards of our people. And for circular economy in Kenya, it's a win-win situation for the people and the population. Having in mind that we have the rate of unemployment in Kenya currently stands at about 16% for young people. And we have here an option that at least can put a number of people into employment while also safeguarding the resources that we have. Next slide. So we have some two photos here. Both of them are in Kenya. The first photo is but it's the biggest waste site in Kenya. It's called Dandora dumping site. It's always a hazard going there. There's tons and tons of waste, unsorted waste. And currently, at least we have a number of people as waste collectors and also youth organizations that are working in this dump site to sort waste and convert them into different products, which is a good sign and a good start. And that's also part of the green economy and green skills that at least the Kenyan youth can gain. And the second photo is of a factory of one of the biggest waste factories in Kenya called Taka Taka Solution. So Taka Taka comes from the Swahili word, which means waste. And it was established, I think, around 2005 there. It has been in the industry for quite some time. And it's good to know that it's serving at least 20,000 households, which the number is still small considering the population of Kenya and also the number of households that we have, but at least it's a good start for recycling and circular economy practices in Kenya. So I've interacted personally with Taka Taka Solutions through an initiative that we had with hotel establishments in Kenya, where we were doing our best at least to make sure that all our tourism establishments in Kenya can become as sustainable as possible. And one of the ways of how we wanted them to sustainably manage waste was for them to have Taka Taka Solution as the company that takes and recycles their waste. The good thing with Taka Taka Solution is if you're part of their clients, then first of all, they'll always sort waste at the place of issue. Then they are going to offer you with all the carbon footprint that you've been able to save, the amount of waste that they've collected. And then they also categorize it into the different segments, if it's plastic waste, if it's food waste, if it's electronic waste, which I think it's something that did not exist with any other waste management company before. Next slide. In the education sector, through the Eco School program, and at least I enjoy because we have two schools representing us here today, Waraka High School and Makini School, which are all part of the Eco School network. Our students have been doing their best to promote the idea of circularity within their different contexts. And the first photo here, we have a school in western parts of Kenya. It's called Riverside School, where they normally take plastic and then they turn it into beautiful vertical gardens. For some of the plastic waste, they always grow some flowers And for others, they always convert it into some vegetable gardens, but all of them, they are always like vertical garden. So the idea of vertical garden is it's an idea that can fit well into a school that doesn't have a lot of space. And it's also a way of decorating the school while reducing the amount of plastic that ends up into landfills. Then we have this photo of some 3 students holding some trays. And these trays are all made from bottle tops and discarded metal wires. So these trays can be used for maybe holding your tea when maybe you're taking it to the visitors, or any other stuff that maybe you might think can even place your books on top there. Then on the last part, we have some beautiful vessel that was designed out of paper waste. So this one is all made from paper waste and glue. And it can be used to hold like your pencils. It can be used to, some people have seen even growing some flowers inside them. And the colors have been painted to signify the Kenyan flag. The last slide. So there's a lot of discussions ongoing about fashion waste and the role the fashion industry is playing in the climate battle. So Kenya normally gets a lot of fashion waste from the West, and by the with the term the West, I mean European countries and also Canada and America. At the moment, Germany is the leading producer of fashion waste in Kenya, accounting for almost 40%. But Ireland has also not been left out. It's contributing about 1.5%. So in context, about 37 million items were dumped in Kenya last year. So if Ireland is contributing 1.5%, this means that almost 4.5 items that were dumped in Kenya last year came from Ireland. These items are almost like always a darling to the population because of their cheap prices, but people don't always consider both the economic and social impact and also environmental impact that these products are having on the Kenyan context. However, there is a lot of initiatives that's currently ongoing by some locals and also some local enterprises to be able at least to slow down the impact of fast fashion and fashion waste in Kenya. A good example is Anyango Mpinga, and Anyango Mpinga is a fashion designer and also a model. And she's specializing in creating some sustainable textiles using invasive plant species. A good example of a plant species that Mpinga is using is the water hyacinth. The water hyacinth is one of the major weeds affecting Lake Victoria. And for those of you who don't know, Lake Victoria is the source of River Nile, which happens to be the longest river in the world. Then we have Lila Bare, which is like a local enterprise, and their approach is a bit unique because for them, their focus is on regenerative fabric. So for regenerative fabric is that we have to make sure that production of the fabrics that we use in making things like maybe clothes and other fashion garments have to be sustainably produced, making sure that they have little impact on the ecosystem in which they are developed. Then we have Reface, and for Reface, they are doing their best to support the local textile production to make sure at least the local textile production develops so that there can be less and less waste coming from the West into Kenya. And lastly, we have the Africa Collect Textile. And for this also, their approach is so unique because they are doing their best to tackle the issue of waste colonization. They are doing this by taking most of the waste that's coming from the developed world turning it into sell products that can be sold in the market. But then what they do is most of that is sold back to the West. So it's like they're taking the West, I think, that's coming from the developed world, and then sending it back to the developed world, but as better items. So that was that from me today, and thank you for listening. In case of any questions, feel free to ask in the chat box.
Thank you
so much.
Wow.
I'm just going to open up the floor to questions. Siobhan, do we have a few questions there, Rachel?
Yeah, so there's a few. I'll start with Finbarr, but guys, thanks so much. That was actually incredible. It was really moving and inspiring. So yeah. Okay, so the questions are the first one was from Danson actually for Finbarr. And has anyone from Kenya bought the shoe? Would you know this?
As far as I know, not yet.
Not yet.
But I have to get a pair over to you. You can be the first man in Kenya wearing my shoes. So
The
we can start that out.
The ambassador.
Yeah. We'll start that out.
Hello.
Oh, hello. This. Was somebody saying something there? Or
Lillian?
yeah.
It might have been a mistake. Hello, Saiban.
Oh, hi Lillian. How are you? I'll just finish with the questions here, will I? So Finbarr, this is from Brigitte, I think. Why did you decide against the cork sole in the end?
How are you?
In the end, I chose to go with an EVA sole instead of a cork sole, just because we developed a cork sole that was a blend with PVC, and because it's a natural material, working with natural materials, it's very hard to get consistency. So what was happening was when we were putting it into tests, we were getting somewhere between, say, 5 to 6 months out of a cork sole versus an EVA sole that can go for, well over 12 to 16 months. So it was just a case of picking a material that would have longevity more than anything. Yeah.
That good, Brigitte?
Thanks, Bridget.
And then I think it was Sheila was asking about the durability of the apple leather as opposed to the animal leather. Is there much of a difference?
To be honest, like when we were starting it, there's other materials out there like Pintex. You might have heard of this one. It's like a pineapple material, but it's very, very thin. So that was the idea at the start. And the apple leather came when I discovered the apple leather. It was fantastic just because the durability was there as well as it being breathable. So how the apple leather is made basically is there are 7 stages to the process. So from the pulp is basically refined and milled into a powder, and then it's mixed with a recycled polyurethane, upcycled polyurethane recycled mix. So it's 50%, 50 by 50 mix. So it's 50% apple, 50% PU. And then it's placed basically on a roll of cotton. And then there's water, it's washed. Basically, the material is washed. So before it's washed, it's a very hard material. It's like hitting a plasterboard, hitting a wall almost. But when it's washed and it's dried, basically it becomes like a leather-like material. So it's as durable as leather and it's breathable. So it's the perfect material to use for a shoe, really.
Wow, so interesting. There's another question just come in for you here. How does the apple leather not decompose or rot?
Yeah, so how the apple leather itself, it comes from a waste. So there's a company in Tyrol, which is like the northern region of Italy, and they're the largest private label producer of apple juice. So mostly around Europe, like if you walked into a Lidl or an Aldi or a supermarket, the apple juice is probably coming from northern Italy. And that's the waste of that juice for the last 15 years, say before this product was invented, it was going straight into landfill, and they had 2 problems really. The apple juice producer, they had obviously the they were paying to put their product into landfill, and then of course the methane gases that the waste was giving off within landfill. So once it's brought in and it's milled, basically it's put into a kiln. So that's another stage of the process. So the powder, before it goes into production to be made into a material, it's almost like a white grainy material. So it's completely dried out. It's like ashes almost. So it feels like a dust. So it's completely dry. And then once it's mixed with the cotton sheet and the PVA, or the polyurethane, it doesn't decompose. I haven't had any cases so far of the shoes disappearing on me. So far so good.
That's good. No, it sounds fascinating.
I know there's another like Italian designer that uses orange peel, and then they use it for furniture as well. It's called krill, I think. Like,
exactly.
What are your thoughts on using other citrus byproducts?
That's the thing. So like even with the textile now, we're developing at the moment. Like we're developing a line of hoodies, t-shirts, just a standard collection. But I suppose at the beginning, it was huge, like the apple skin. But we don't really want to tie ourselves into just being apple skin, because it might be the best product that's available on the market today. But who's to say in 6 or 7 months' time, or sorry, 6 or 7 years' time, there might be something else that'll pop up. So we want to keep on evolving and introducing the most, I suppose, innovative materials that are out there into our products. So yeah, we're not just going to stick with one. We're going to keep on developing with whatever is out there that can beat the material that we're working with. But for apple skin versus the orange peel, at the moment, the apple skin, from our tests, the apple skin is much more durable. So it's perfect for a shoe.
I know that we have a few enthusiastic schools that are keen to present now as well. I just see some comments there in the chat. So we might have to leave the Q&A for now. But thank you so much. And you can see from everyone's response there, it's just been so inspirational. Thank you so much for your time today. And I might hand over to Brigitte now for the design pitches and what we received.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks so much. It's so great to hear your enthusiasm and your passion for all of this, and I'm sure for the students, it's great to hear that. So thank you so much to all of you for presenting to us. I have a request from Lillian if Ruraka can do their presentation now. So I'm going to share my screen, and there you go. You can see the presentation. So I hand over to Lillian for your students to explain what everyone can see in the screen here. Lillian, are you ready? You might need to unmute yourself, Lillian. I can't hear you. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, good. So, good morning. We've been having some technical problems, but thank God we are back on. So I have a few students with me, and Brenda is going to take us through the presentation.
Brilliant, great. Brenda.
Good morning. Good morning. Good
Hello.
afternoon, wherever you're watching from. My name is Brenda Grace from Ruraka High School, and the prefect for Environment and Sanitation, and also the chairperson for International Climate Champion Club. And our school is located in Mathare slums and also surrounded by other slums such as Korogocho, Dandora, and Ngomongo. Most of school children cannot afford the school bags and end up using the Uhuru bags, these ones. And the ones who can afford new ones tear very fast. This is the solution for this problem, where you can change the name clothes to school bags as demonstrated in the following steps. 1, you have to collect old and worn denim clothes, such as trousers and jackets. The next step, you have to sort and cut them out together to form one fabric. The third step, you have to form one pattern from the jacket that you have cut them. And finally, you have your, and stitch them together, and finally, you have your Ingida bag, which is more durable and long-lasting. And Ingida means a bicycle, which is environmentally friendly. And here, as you can see from
that's wonderful. Thank you so much. I think this will speak to you, Attila.
Yes.
A bag made out of jeans.
Yes. Well done, Lillian, and all the team. Well done with the concept. Yes. What you do is exactly similar what we do. We take materials, we transform them. But the most important thing is that all the process needs to be sustainable as well. So all the effort you put in the collection, sorting, cutting, creating something new. So all the effort needs to make sense, and the end product needs to last. So, but the concept is great. Well done. Congratulations.
It's great. I'm delighted. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, I also think that we have Bria, who from Cloisterborough, who is ready to share her amazing design of this dress, which I would love to see on the catwalk in April, if possible. Bria, are you ready?
Start video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bria's ready now. You can sit down.
Great. Hi, Bria. I was so impressed to wake up to this morning to see this fantastic design. Do you want to talk us through it?
Sure. Okay, so this is the original design. I named it the Fame Monster because I don't know. The main dress is made out of, it was originally the base was going to be just a regular dress from like a thrift store or an old dress that I can't wear anymore. And I was going to, instead of cans, I was going to use inside of crisp bags on the metallic side and cut them into teardrop shapes, and I was going to sew them onto the dress. And also with the leg warmers, I was going to use big plastic bags, scrunch them up, and like sew them with like some like fishing wire.
Yeah.
Because you can get that like on the street. And that's just basically the main idea. It's nothing much, but I feel like it could really turn into something big.
I think it could turn into something fantastic. So get working on it. You have about 2 months to get this ready for the catwalk in April. Bria, well done. Absolutely great. Everyone give her a round of applause. And then I have, well done. So I also have a presentation to share from Seamount College. Amy and Maeve, are you ready to share your presentation with us? Welcome, Maeve and Amy.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
We're great.
I'm Sarah.
You're Amy.
I'm Amy.
I'm Sarah.
All right, okay.
We're second years from Seaman College, and our idea is to create a website where you can trade your clothes you don't want and get the clothes that you do want in the same quality without charge. We created a name called Moda, which is fashion in Italian, and the idea was inspired by Swappy, but we added our own touches to our project. Did you know? Oh, sorry. Next, yeah.
Sorry. No, let's go back one. Yeah.
Did you know that 60% of the textile waste goes to landfill, and 19% is burned, and only 15% is recycled?
No, I did not.
Okay, you can go to the next slide, please.
Yeah, is that coming up for you?
Yeah. Just keep talking. Okay, so how it worked was that we would have it, when you go on the website, you would set a radius of distance, which you would be able to mark your location, which you're willing to travel, so you're able to meet with other people who are trading their clothes locally. And when you want to put the article of clothing on the website, you would first have to name the brand. If you bought it from a shop first hand, you'd name the price you bought it for. If you can't remember, you could just could write the condition of it, and then you'd have the condition of the product, and you take photos for up on the website and to prove the condition of clothing. And how we would promote it is we would do an Instagram page, or just do ads, or we could do there's like conventions that you could do. We could do convention once a year or every few years to promote it, and people come along and pay a fee to come in, and then they can go around trading their clothes.
We came up with potential problems. So if someone they weren't satisfied with their article of clothing, then that's when we can decide if it'd be best. That's why we decided it'd be best to meet up in person. So if you weren't happy with the product you were getting, then you could say to the person that you won't want to do the deal. And it also reduces CO2 emissions if you were to meet them in person than to fly over to wherever they were or to post it.
Then when you have, the idea is that you'll have your account on the website and you'd have a rating. But if someone has put up a product that they don't have, or it's a fake, or it's in bad condition when they go to meet to trade it, if they've lied, they can do a bad rating for them, and their rating goes down, and they can get, if they continue to this, they can get a three-strike rule where they can be blocked after that, and then they can have five-day appeal if they believe they've been wrongly blocked.
You would also put in your location, so you're willing to travel the distance, so where they are. So if you were if the person was too far away from you, and if you didn't want to do the deal, then this is where the location comes in. That's it. Thanks so much.
That's wonderful. Ladies, that is so good. I love the way you have thought about all the pitfalls as well, and I love the locality of your idea, that you can keep it local, because there is so much fashion going around, even in your own locality, that you could do business within your own locality. So keeping the transport low as well, because that's also a big thing. Finbarr, what do you think about their business side of it? Like, they have really thought it through, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, absolutely. It's a great idea. Like with Depop, I think is it's a better model than Depop could do, and they have a huge team behind them. The fact that you can go locally and trade your clothes, as they said, it's fantastic. So well done, girls. Brilliant idea.
Great. So that could be a really good business model. So maybe we can see it happen in real life in your own locality. That would be really fantastic. Then we also got this picture in from Gort Community College, working really hard, going through the design thinking process. Do we have anyone in Gort Community who wants to talk about the pictures that we see up here?
Hi, Birgit. This is Elaine Foy. I'm the supporting teacher with the TY group. Fortunately, they've been brought away today. It was kind of a sudden decision, so they were to be here, but I'm here representing them.
All right, okay.
So last week we did our design thinking session, where they looked at the 30 circles and thought outside the box and came up with different ideas for as many circles as possible, and they enjoyed that. And then we did the design thinking exercise, where they worked in, there was 3 different groups, and they thought up of an idea how they could recycle something, and they passed it on to the next group, and the next group had to improve on it, and then following on to the next group had to basically destroy their idea by saying how it wouldn't work, you know, and then finally they had to fix the idea. So it really got them thinking outside the box, and yeah, they came up with some nice ideas. I think one of the ideas that I thought was good was how to recycle paper, and like using kind of papier-mâché techniques to maybe do nice covers and make some nice notebooks that they could. We have an annual Christmas fair at the end of November, and they were thinking that it would be nice to use that idea for crafting for notebooks to sell at the Christmas fair, and to recycle paper and that, you know. So that basically was the gist of their idea.
That sounds lovely, really nice. And maybe we might see some come to fruition, some of those ideas in the next couple of months.
Hopefully.
That's wonderful. Thank you all so much for sharing. We're after running over a little bit, so I'd say loads of people will have to leave soon. Claire, I hand back over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, and thanks so much everybody for giving your time today, and especially to our speakers as well, who have been so inspirational, and really look forward to the next set of events and our catwalk event, and maybe seeing some designs in action then. So just to finish up now, our next event will be we'll stick with the Tuesday, 5th of March at lunchtime as well, and that will be around clothes sharing, and we will have some ideas from schools that are doing some amazing work on that, and then that next task will be around organizing a swap shop in the school as well. So I will send everybody an email afterwards and a recording for this for the students that are missing today as well. So thank you everybody.